Hello, this is Chris Jansen. Welcome to the End Evil podcast.
So this is
Hello,
about
this
living
is
life.
Chris Jansen.
Many people are experiencing this amazing thing called life, but we're experiencing it from all different points of view. This video is about natural law. What does that mean? What does that mean, natural law? When I discovered this set of terms, the way it was explained to me, a set of rules that are baked in to reality. Things that can't change. Things that no human can possibly ever hope to change. They're as real as reality. And these rules are basically the balance of reality is about morality. And the reason we have a conscience, a consciousness that can judge right and wrong, is because that's part of reality. It's not like we create right and wrong. It's like they're already there. Like we discover a rock or a mountain or gravity or the sun. Things that, we have zero control over. We just can control how it affects us sometimes, If we're talking about the sun, you can get in the shade. If we're talking about a rock, you can hide under a rock, or you can lay on top of the rock when you're cold and you want to get warm. So all these natural things, that we call nature, that's one thing, right? And then we have the law. Like when you hear the law, people mostly think, oh, that's like made up by judges and courts and enforced by police officers, right? That's not what I'm talking about. That is man's law. And that is corruption of the natural law. The natural law is very simple, and it's not the law of the jungle, like where lions eat antelopes. That is nature. That is nature expressing its natural flows, right? That's not natural law. Natural law is termed specifically to describe human interactions.
Podcast.
She doesn't even need dancing shoes. Enjoy the beautiful day. Looks like a lot of people are also doing the same.
So Chris and I came up with this idea of a wake on the lake, which ironically we're here by the river today. But we want to share some of the beauty of our surroundings and the enjoyment of our experience in the beauty of our surroundings, the beauty of nature, as we talk about philosophy and especially about how do we cultivate health and spiritual wealth within ourselves. How do we cultivate our gifts of our body, of our being alive here?
Health and spiritual wealth.
Yeah.
That's a good little accidental rhyme. Right. Culture in our community, so it's kind of cool. He's gonna come. Your son's gonna come and cold plunge.
I think so.
Man, I should keep my swimsuit in the car. I'd be down for that right now.
You'll be always prepared for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shadow.
The shadow of man's mark on the land. Wow, we got sun today. So,
Yeah, we fell behind, so we're 1:30 in our little silly clocks, and then the actual would be 2:30.
oh, if it didn't do,
If
yeah,
it didn't do that thing.
fall back.
Fall back. Yeah.
I did. I don't see any chemtrails right now at the moment.
Ironic that this afternoon you're going to do a podcast on chemtrail.
Yeah, right.
This is one of my favorite little beans right here.
It's weird the colors of that. So I was chatting with Derek this morning about our interview we're going to do tomorrow for dissolving the divide, and I was like realizing the notes I sent you guys had all this stuff in the notes, and it was like enough for 8 episodes, but I managed to kind of come up with an idea to consolidate and focus my thought. Like, really, the more I think about it, the main dialectic, the main actual, I was describing it to Derek as the actual artillery or bullets of the war we're fighting has to do with money. And what I've been calling recently money-based decision making. And I think that is kind of like in the practical real world of little things that we have to deal with. That's like the main real one that's holding people up and binding them. Hi.
So you want to focus more on the division that money creates?
Well, when we
thinking?
understand that, why it creates that division, we understand why, and that has to do with our decision making, even
Right.
down to
And
the smallest
and our
decision.
values and our survival.
Mhm.
Right. So
So-
that's totally different than what I thought you were going to talk about, which I thought you were going to talk about kind of authority-based decision making versus like leadership, or the difference between us being an authority and a leader, or something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that is a big deal, and it's a big part of like the principle behind it and the theory behind it and the logic. But when I really thought about it on a practical level of what needs to be discussed,
Right.
and what we actually change, our relationship to the authority, so-called.
To our relationship to authority.
Well, the authority of our time.
Involves money as how we're dependent upon the system or whatever, right?
Right, like if we'd been alive in the 1400s, maybe it would have been swordsmanship. And by being the best swordsman, I would have more leverage or power in the political situation. But in this time we're in, the bullets is money.
Money, right?
And it's the fact, it's not just that it's money, it's that they own the money. The sigils, the magic on the bills themselves, and the word bills, and how it's used and how it's generated and how it's used to enslave us. That's the tool of enslavement. That's the bars, that's the chains. You know what I mean? It's not the whole reason we're in slavery, but it's the actual real obstacle we're facing. We're going into the private conversation area here for natural law students only. freedom students, freedom truth speakers only. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We could see it closer.
We'll make sure that we're not completely
Funky leaves.
covered in what can we call it, shadows.
No, that's nice. We kind of got a few shadows laying across us.
So Chris, talk a little bit about how we came up with this idea of Awake at the Lake, and what are your ideas for the topics that we cover and the purpose of it?
Well, it has a lot to do with our connection to nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I really see you as someone who's really knowledgeable about relationships. And this is about us working on our relationships with ourselves and with nature and each other. Really, it's those main things.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had such wonderful connections outdoors, and I have my whole life. I've always called it the living Bible. And I don't know what better place there could be than out here to and also we've had all these neat moments, like especially when we're at the lake,
Mm-hmm.
when we're having this like amazing conversation and we're like, we should be recording this. And so it kind of led to us saying, okay, let's start recording this. So the idea was to save up our money and buy some GoPros, but instead we were broke as ever, probably more broke than I've ever been. So I just bought this one GoPro, an older model, on credit, and I'm paying it off. So we're gonna make it happen and make this thing happen.
Yes, it is January 23.
23.
It's past that now. It's like 28 or 29.
Oh, I meant the year.
Oh, the year. It's 2023, but it's January 28th, I think, or 29th.
Yeah.
And let's find out for sure. It is the 28th, 2023, and the weather's turning to this beautiful promise of spring. I know we have more winter to go and we need more rain and all that, but I'm getting excited about being outside again and hiking and being on the lake and enjoying the beautiful sun and the Southern California weather brings us, and starting these videotapes so that we can share snippets of some of the things that we are excited about and that we feel like is important to share, but to do it with sharing the beauty that we live in. Because these topics, even though they're really serious, I always feel like it's important to stay connected to the love of life, to this beauty of life. So as cynical as sometimes we could feel about the world, when I think about nature and the beauty and magnificence that surrounds us, I always feel optimistic and I feel love and beauty, and I see the potential, and I feel like this is a good world. At least it can be. And so the more that we are ourselves connecting with the goodness of nature, I feel like that's where we can find our power and our resilience. And so a lot of, I think, what we'll share is about how to become resilient in this world and to find our spiritual connection with each other, within ourselves, and with nature, or through nature, find those things.
And it's partly making good use of our time, because there's always this dilemma that we face of, okay, a lot of our work is online, and these days more and more of not just ours, but everybody who might be watching this, the way you make your money, or the way you survive, basically, a large percentage of that is going to be time on the computer, on the screen.
Yeah.
And then we are trying to keep up somewhat with our other brothers and sisters, freedom speakers out there, watching their videos. And then, from time to time we watch a movie, and it all adds up. Too much damn screen time. And so we really want to be outdoors. And then there's a bit of guilt there, because it's like, man, I should be working on the podcast, or we have all these ideas of things we want to share with people and put on our websites and share with you and build community online. And how are we going to do both those things at once? And so this was sort of the merging of that, of trying to get, supposedly this little camera is waterproof, just as it is, what the instruction says. So our goal is to take this out on the lake. I would almost wanted to go out today, even though it's cold, but we'll take you out on the lake with us real soon. We'll take you into the mountains. We could take you to the snow. And eventually I like really want to hold retreats out here and bring people out here physically to work together on what I'm going to start calling body, mind, spirit, working towards being better people, working towards being more free people, and understanding the difference between good and evil and morality, and how that plays out in a world that's totally upside down and screwed up beyond all imaginable repair. At times it feels like we're trying to find that ray of hope and create this place, this second realm journey, as Shane would call it, my friend Shane.
You know, when I've talked with Chris about, let's create a curriculum, let's talk about what we want to teach and what would we talk about first. And Chris has always consistently said, well, the first thing is to understand value. And at first I was like, what do you mean by that? Like, understand our value. And I think it comes down to like the value of life, right? Our value as human beings.
The value of this moment.
The value of
the only thing that exists.
Yeah, being present.
Just being able to exist and feel this leaf stuck in my finger right now is lucky and amazing, and this is an opportunity.
Yeah, to feel the sun on our faces and to see the shadows, the play of shadow and light, to hear the birds, use our senses, this amazing sensory machine that we have.
A once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, it's like we have this body and then we have these minds. And it's pretty miraculous. And I think valuing ourselves and valuing this opportunity to interact with nature and to think, it's like really amazing. And we underuse it and we underappreciate it. So I've come to really agree with that.
I just remembered something that popped in my head randomly yesterday. Sorry to interrupt you a little bit, but nature and the word mature, they're so similar.
Yeah.
And even an M is almost like an M. So if you think of it kind of in the language of the birds or the green language, nature, that's what it does too. It always matures. Everything's, this thing started out little and then it was maturing. And then, these are the dead leaves that matured and fell.
And they're feeding the earth.
Constantly maturing.
And
maturing.
And look,
naturing.
They're naturing and they're maturing. And these dead leaves are not really dead. They're filled with the template.
The nitrogen or whatever.
Of life, the minerals that then goes into the earth and becomes food, right? To create more life. So there's no waste. And all wisdom and all knowledge has potential,
I love how words weave into, like all our words are like leave it alone, a leaf in the wind. What does that represent? Our fleeting thoughts, our fleeting memories, everything that's not in the moment, might as well leave it alone because it's just going to fly away. But that doesn't mean it's useless. Like you're saying, every leaf on this forest floor is part of the canopy of the nutrients and the ground cover that is necessary to create the environment that produces this whole beautiful tapestry. And you take one thing out of it and take it in a lab and cut it apart and spray it with some, opaque material or whatever they do and put it in a lab and study it in a microscope and be like, no, this is actually the density of this is such and such. That's all it is. And they try to break things down to just the material. But that totally is not paying attention to sort of the hermetic reality that everything is tied together, interconnectedness. Yes. And then to me, interconnectedness becomes kind of the next realization after establishing the value and the importance of the amazing wonder of being alive and having life, is then recognizing that it's not just my life, because without all the context of you and the leaves and the trees and all that stuff, it wouldn't be that. It would be like I'm saying, this thing that was broken, just one little piece and separate, and that reality doesn't really have that.
And what are we dying for? Like one could say that the falling leaves, the death of the leaf is sad, right? And there can be a correlation with the falling leaves, with grieving, with loss, but yet then we see grieving that there's relief in the leaf when we realize that it's only a new chapter of its life cycle, and that there really is no ending.
And leafing. I'm trying to get
Relief in the falling of leaves.
you could get it in slow-mo. It's just interesting. We were talking about this, how life kind of leads you down these paths, and if you look back at the map of your life, a lot of times it kind of tells a story, and it's like I feel in a way perfectly prepared for the things in front of me that I choose to do.
Yes.
And it's like we do choose the path purposefully, but in another way we've already created it by our actions over years, or partly by the things that have just happened to us.
Yeah, and whatever our soul journey is, and what guides that experience of the lessons that we're here to learn and the people that we learn them with, it's really fascinating. I mean, I've always been a wanderer. I've wondered and wandered around to find answers to these questions, and I feel like, you know, part of this is valuing ourselves, valuing all the experiences of our lives, the difficult and the easy ones. Like, everything's added up to create like all the unique nutrient, mineral composition and energetic life force of each of these leaves. You know, like, we are like this, and we'll die someday, but our wisdom, our experience, our knowledge, our love will be, you know, composted. And I think these videos and the content that we create is part of honoring that and keeping it alive, right? Giving life to future generations, possibly. I mean, I think in big pictures and ideals, and we want to be sharing the wisdom and not keeping the wisdom. You know, we're wisdom keepers, but we're wisdom sharers. And maybe that sounds like egotistical, but I want to say that we all are, and we all have a voice. And I think that all of us, it's amazing growth to be a creator and to express and share in whatever form it is, whether it's verbal talking or art or music or a craft or a skill that we share into the world. But we're here not to just live in isolation, but to share.
I think that too, you mentioned, you know, ego. I think the way that our society and people commonly think about ego can be self-destructive and
self-limiting.
I've found personally a lot of personal development in just letting go of that whole concern completely. Sometimes I do brag a little bit. I can be a little braggy, but I know myself to be very humble, and I'm proud of the fact that I'm humble. You know what I mean? And I don't mind saying it because I know I can back it up. And I'm kind of done apologizing for being egotistical in a way, you know? I mean, not to say that if someone called me out on it, I would be like, oh, maybe they're right.
It's that Leo rising, Leo moon in him, and I'm a Leo moon.
You know, it's different than calling yourself out. You know,
it's not wrong.
If someone tells me, oh, now you're being egotistical, maybe I'll reconsider it. But in the meantime, yeah, like I'm not feeling bad about saying the things that are awesome about me, you know, and we shouldn't look at ourselves in that light. And I think that's partly a indoctrination of our slave culture.
We have to push through like those little voices in our head where we imagine somebody saying like, well, who are you to share this information? You know, how did you become so
why is
such an expert?
what you have to say so important?
Yeah, like,
you know,
and we all have that like self-doubt, you know, as we step out to create something. I literally had someone who's known me since I was 14, like when I made a comment just like Facebook, that was like a philosophical and, you know, a little bit of a, you know, wisdom statement of some sort. You know, he's like, when did you become such an expert? Mm-hmm. You know, or a guru? When did you become a guru? I'm like, I've never seen him as a guru. He's silly. But I have changed and grown since I was 14.
There's no better way to learn a thing than to teach a thing.
Exactly.
It's something I've discovered over and over. And so the sooner you start teaching a thing, the sooner you start learning what's the worst case scenario. You put your foot in your mouth and you say
something wrong.
Then you realize it was wrong, or someone calls you out on it, then you correct yourself.
Exactly.
And you choose humility. You say, oh, I was wrong, but now I really know, you know, and especially if it happens in an embarrassing way, I really learned from those little blunders, and I'm starting to learn to see them as opportunities before I even allow my mind to call them blunders.
Yeah. So we'll just, say right from the front that not everything we say is going to be spot on and correct, but we're going to do our best.
Yeah. And, I really encourage folks that listen to this to reach out and communicate with us through email, or I think what we'll do is eventually get this put on a website situation, but we're going to just kind of get it started and get going, and
maybe we'll
organize as we
group,
go.
Facebook group, something to chat.
Yeah, or Telegram I'm starting to use for the other one. We'll see. There's so many different social media channels. We still kind of have to iron out some of the details on our Awake at the Lake, but we're going to be back many times and share with you all kinds of wonderful things out here in nature. And I'm trying to make a stick display here. Yeah, there you go. Cool.
All right, we're going to keep walking.
All right. Go with. Emerge into the light. Want to go down to the water?
What's that?
Want to go down to the water?
Sure.
I at least want to put my feet in there.
So this is about living life. Many people are experiencing this amazing thing called life, but we're experiencing it from all different points of view. This video is about natural law. What does that mean? What does that mean, natural law? When I discovered this set of terms, the way it was explained to me, a set of rules that are baked in to reality. Things that can't change. Things that no human can possibly ever hope to change. They're as real as reality. And these rules are basically the balance of reality is about morality. And the reason we have a conscience, a consciousness that can judge right and wrong, is because that's part of reality. It's not like we create right and wrong. It's like they're already there. Like we discover a rock or a mountain or gravity or the sun, things that, we have zero control over. We just can control how it affects us sometimes, We're talking about the sun, you can get in the shade. If we're talking about a rock, you can hide under a rock, or you can lay on top of the rock when you're cold and you want to get warm. So all these natural things, that we call nature, that's one thing, right? And then we have the law. Like, when you hear the law, people mostly think, oh, that's like made up by judges and courts and enforced by police officers, right? That's not what I'm talking about. That is man's law. And that is corruption of the natural law. The natural law is very simple, and it's not the law of the jungle, like where lions eat antelopes. That is nature. That is nature expressing its natural flows, right? That's not natural law. Natural law is termed specifically to describe human interactions. I guess there could probably be other entities that aren't exactly humans, but I'm not going to argue that point. Are we the only beings capable of understanding morality? I don't know. But I know that we are, because the only humans that don't have the capability to understand morality are psychopaths. And we could argue all day about psychopaths are born or created or a combination of the two, but there's not very many of them compared to the majority of people who understand natural law. That if you do something shitty is going to happen. If you kick someone, they're going to be mad. If If you spit on somebody, they're not going to like it. If you lie to someone, that lie's gonna rear its ugly head at some point. So all we're really talking about is cause and effect, what we call causality. When you do something, something else is gonna happen. If you throw a rock into the water, there's gonna be a ripple effect. The same is true in this reality on everything we do in terms of morality. If you kill somebody, something's gonna happen. And I think people think, oh, this isn't real, because they see and hear about situations where people get away with stuff. People get away with murder. Some of the most evil people in the world, like our presidents and leadership and people in the movies that are propagandizing our culture with all kinds of reinforcing all kinds of stereotypes and negative ideas and terrible transhumanist and communist agendas to lure us into further traps. These people, there are some psychopaths, truly pretty sinister people in the world. But those people, you might think, oh, they're getting away with it. They've been getting away with it for a long time. But you can't always see the direct result of things like in a cartoon. This is not Disney where as soon as you tell a lie, does an anvil fall on your head? No, that's not the way it works. But it is just as real as that. It's just you don't always see the direct result right away. And it also happens to be that all of us humans are involved in this sort of what I call spiritual mathematics. In other words, let's just say we formed a whole army of humans and we decided to go take over some other people's land. That's stealing by force, murdering people on the way. You think we could go do that? And we could pull it off. We had enough weapons and enough people and the right strategy. We could get it. We get their land. We kill all those people, rape children and women, whatever we have to do. We get that land. We won, right? Maybe we live out the rest of our days in that land and no one's able to kill us. Does that mean there's no such thing as natural law consequences of our actions? Well, it might take a generation or two sometimes before it catches up. It doesn't just affect each of us individually, it affects all of us because we're all part of the same thing. And that's the thing that people don't want to really look at because it's scary that even though we're individuals, we get our own choices, we're also accountable for the actions of others. It's just the way life is. If you're driving a car and the person in front of you drank 20 beers before driving and they slam on their brakes, you're going to crash into them unless you're got lots of space and you're ready for that. So, what other people are doing affects you. What we're doing affects other people. And the karmic natural law result, it's not always directly easy for us to compute and see in the physical world. Sometimes it takes a while. The universe even sneaks out in its own time. How long does it take a tree to grow? How long does it take before a dead animal decomposes? It's not instantaneous. There's a process. Bugs come, And in the same way, our moral choices, they have an outcome over the next series of years, the next generation. We're feeling the burn right now from shitty behavior of many generations of human beings that have been allowing other human beings to lie, cheat, steal, and get away with it. So get away with it, but you really can't do ultimately. Somewhere you got to pay the piper. All of us do, not just one of us. But I'm telling you what, if you choose to understand this concept, take it seriously, and live your life with this intention in mind to not harm, to do things that are right, you're going to start to experience a lot of good things that other people aren't experiencing, because the universe does start to even things out for you, because you're not creating more evil, because you're not burning people, because you're not murdering people. You get a different kind of experience in this life. And a lot of it has to do with how you feel. I mean, I think you take someone who's a truly moral person who's been doing good things, you can put them in the worst situation and they're going to be a lot happier and in a place of joy than somebody who's been doing a bunch of shitty, evil things their whole life. It comes from inside. It almost doesn't matter the circumstances around you. When you do good things and you're a good, actual good individual and you don't harm others, you will have a better experience. But, you know, it's like I said, it's not like Disney cartoons. You're not going to like marry the princess and live in a big castle and get fed grapes every day. It's not like that. You know, it's subtle.
What's up? You trying to go? You going somewhere to end evil or something?
No, do it right here. This is the spot for it.
Hell yeah!
Where it goes on. It's where the magic happens.
Where you got that natural law?
It's like I'm reaching for artistic expansion. Level-headed thoughts and actions come together for the mastermind plan to never undermine or underhanded. Over the top, I shake the hand of mankind until he fully understands it.
I got the knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Night, your word, learned your lesson. I got the knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Night, your word, learned your lesson. I got the knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Night, your word, learned your lesson.
Sounds pretty groovy, man. So what's good with Leslie Powers?
She's a wonderful woman, a wonderful lady.
Yeah, buddy.
Incredible opportunity to spend a lot of time with.
Yeah.
And we're working on a program called Awake at the Lake.
Make no mistake.
Behind the scenes.
Oh shit! Is this like VIP shit, man? Are we that privileged or whatever? That's so cool.
I gotta mess with the audio clip mixer. No.
So as you're making these videos, what do you find like one of the hardest things to do? Because you got a lot going on, man. I like the setup and all that shit. What the hell is that? No, I'm just kidding. For those who don't know or whatever, right?
That's an interface. That's a Steinberg UR44 interface.
44?
Yeah, that's because
I
it
love
has
those numbers.
multiple inputs.
Hell yeah.
So we could plug in a bass guitar and a electric guitar.
It's like a 4-track? No, it's better than that.
It helps us interface with
Yeah.
computers, what it lets us do.
You had me hooked on the Frog Dog stuff, you know?
There's a lot of
Putting
things.
on the skits.
Man, there's so much technological stuff, and I'm not even a super technological person.
Yeah.
It's taken me a lot of work to...
Holy smokes. It is the shining hour of Leslie Powers in the place to be. My friends, mes amis, as we say. So we've been thinking about, ending evil, natural law, dissolving divides,
While
and
having fun.
yeah, totally, and getting a lot of shit done. Just that real life shit.
Under the shining sun.
Yeah. He whooped my ass in chess earlier, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We've never played. He's like saving me, I think, because he assumes I can't
No,
play.
I can't wait.
Oh yeah, you holding back?
Well, I've never used. Yeah, he is, because he knows he'll beat me in like 2 seconds.
Oh yeah.
That's what we're working with here, man. Just trying to perceive what really is.
Yo, how many podcasts have you casted out with that microphone?
Quite a few.
Don't be modest. Just Just kidding.
Hey, it's a question of how good are they? Are they working? Are people listening to them?
Yeah. But you got it going on with the RSS feeds, right? That's working out all right?
Yeah. You're hitting some people on the podcast feed, yeah. No way to completely remove that wind sound and that...
The digital dilemmas. So you got that natural law? Oh shit. Yeah, man. What kind of divides are we going to be dissolving next time? We will see.
Divide and conquer, that's a model, this role model, but doesn't go with what's inside my soul, so I don't follow. I walk my own path and keep my own pace and feel great when I relate to people in the same state.
And I'm not even a super technological person.
Yeah.
It's taken me a lot of work to get to this point where I know the things I know.
People would
But I'm
think my
still
coffee is
struggling.
technical. So you're still struggling
Dude, yeah,
with
you got the
wedding.
you got the cooking technical in that. On your actress, got it.
Yeah, I gotta somehow I gotta make it. This is like
Show them the board.
it's like Chris said, this is it's like the Encyclopedia Britannica. It's kind of boring, but sometimes people
No,
like
it's-
to read it.
But it's
You
a
know?
great reference
It's
point
a
for your
foundation.
name.
That's
Fuck
what
yes,
it is.
exactly.
And see, that's how I'm seeing it.
That's
Is
why-
I'm just like I'm pushing through this stuff.
It can be
right?
boring or arduous
and
or
it's
whatever,
kind of
but it's like necessary.
Right,
You know,
and then I can reference it, and then I can like be more
Bam.
creative and try to get better and better.
Yeah, and like for future clients, you can be like, hey, those are like
This is
free
your
offerings,
homework.
and yeah.
This is, you read something or listen to something.
And then, be like, hey, check this out, and take notes and bring out questions of things that I mentioned, and we could work through this kind of,
Yeah, good. I've never really thought of doing that actually.
Yeah, because those are offerings for free, and all that
Right.
stuff, and like for your client, yeah. So I think it'll be a good aid for them to see you as more approachable and like just this path work in a sense as well, and be like, okay, well this person's like willing to work with me, and
Right.
be open to questions, and
Offer something live maybe, or interactive, or to a group or something.
Because what I'm thinking sometimes, like our beliefs are challenged, right? And for teachers, the student is going to challenge the teacher as well with that stuff, like why, and
Right.
they kind of put it back on you.
Yes.
So for you to do that, alchemical woo, or
And allow the
Yeah.
people to ask questions or challenge, and then and it always helps to have that dialogue, right? Isn't that the dialectic?
yeah,
That's the whole process.
The dia, one of
It's
the
the coming together in conversation about different opinions and opposing dialectics, right?
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
through
yeah.
that process, you get the alchemy of truth. You understand something deeper.
Yeah. I dropped a potato.
Uh-oh.
It's all gravity.
Drop the potato. Dropping potatoes, Jerry.
Chris, what you got to say, bro? No.
Say, bro, he dropped the potato.
Aw, that's so.
What else can you say, yo?
That you grew up in San Jose?
I grew up in San Jose.
Though?
That's where I used to play in my younger day. What else can I display?
Some great work on the way.
Yeah.
It's an
What's-
The
eyeball.
one great word.
Here's looking
Oh,
at you.
shit.
Here's looking at me. Here's looking within me.
Mm.
Here's trying to find me. Here's me trying to find me. Meeting
Looking
you.
at me.
You trying to find you. Finding she.
So I hear you're taking the right angle with that triangle with the whole trivium, and how are you really going to be delivering something more exquisite and unique to pique more of an interest for them to,
On June 24th and 5th.
Oh, is that the date?
Yeah.
Save it.
2023.
We'll be streaming live to
Oh yeah.
a screen near you.
Freedom under natural law.
What else
Yeah.
can we do?
Freedom.
Funnel is the acronym, and how do you describe the funnel? Because
Freedom
it's not like
under-
some kind of we're gonna funnel you into some kind of
Funneling information.
cult or whatever. It's just there's certain truths and universal axioms and principles, right, that we can all kind of stand upon, that the common ground that we're talking about with dissolving the divide, right? And
Using the trivium process to gather information, to be thinking critically about things.
yeah,
Right,
Socratic
in order
method,
to
all of
narrow
it.
down to the truth. That
Yeah,
which we
funneling
actually
down
think.
Simplify
dissolving.
things a little bit.
the
There
alchemy-
are some.
Yeah.
There are some structure to this universe and this realm that we're in. We can really simplify it.
Yeah,
And freedom under natural law is like a mathematical equation. It's like we can't have freedom until we're living under the understanding of natural law.
Yes.
How do we
Oh.
do that? Well, there's a simple 3-step process.
that helps us figure things out, and that's the trivia, right? So we're simplifying some terms, and we're starting with explaining what those terms mean. That's the grammar, and then that offers the opportunity for understanding, right? Once there's understanding, then we're, as all these people, making better choices, and we're acting out right action, right triangle, right action. You know, right thinking.
What's the degree of that right angle? Because you're like a... Boom!
And 33 has been the weirdest number for me.
Like Manly P!
333. I'll look at my clock at 3:30 all my life. Like not at certain moments, not all my life, but at certain prime moments. It's been 3:33 shows up a lot. It's really weird.
That's a master number, you know? That's the thrice straight Trismegistus. For sure.
For Chris's
wish list. Oh yeah, oh in that.
I've had some assistants, I must say.
Oh yeah.
Various people that show up in my life or things that happen. I've always been like, how come there's not like a teacher? You know, like I've read those books and someone has like a master and you teach them everything. And I'd be like, you know, when I was younger, believing in God, I'd be,
Where's your sensei?
Please bring me my master, you know? But it turned out life is my master. It's just a combination of every little thing that I come across.
What are you, some kind of student life or something, man? Like.
I suppose.
Nature is your master?
Nature.
Oh shit, we're. La loi naturelle.
Chez Derek. What's on the menu for tonight?
Leftovers, but you know the remix, that natural law refix. But oh bam, you mixing up the chili? Oh really?
Make some memes. I'm hungry. Let's eat.
Yeah, okay. I call for bon appetit.
Oh, hello. Hello.
What's up? Are we trying to dissolve some divides around here? Or?
Endless process.
Tummy and I smell something in
Oh
there,
yeah.
like some great chef.
Yeah.
You want to fill the empty space in your belly.
We're trying to make some hermetically sealed meals for sure.
Seal. Deal.
For real.
Listening
For
to
real.
Yeah.
the powerful
Listening to the
wisdom
real
of
Leslie
the
Powers.
real Leslie.
Hell yeah. And this is what we're doing on a Thursday night. A live stream of her magnificent and monumental Alive Thrive series.
Yeah. Episode 4 of Alive and Thriving.
But there's already like 10 hours in total already, and you're still releasing more. What's
well,
the
it's close.
total?
It's not quite, and just finished episode 7, and
Yeah.
I just put that up.
And
so there,
how much is it going up to? Like,
I'm not sure yet.
yeah, it's still like a work in progress,
I
or
think we're getting to like 10 or 11. I'm thinking. It depends on
okay.
I'm going to probably make them shorter because I'm going to be talking about a lot of tools, and it's going to be like
more condensed and
boring
focused.
to hear me. I'm going to go to bridge. I don't know. It's a surprise. You have to wait and see.
Right on. Sounds good. Thank you. And there's consequences for changing your life for the better if you're staying aligned to, you know, shit that's divine, and you know, you trying to be refined and, you know,
Get like fine wine.
yeah, ooh, yeah, aging properly. How's it going, Leslie?
Hi, Derek.
I heard Brandon told me that you got that natural law.
Check out that natural law. Part of the Natty Law group.
Word.
True.
Fuck. But I asked you a question though. You got that natural law or what? No.
It's not something you can got, man.
Give it to me right now. The people are asking. No, I'm just kidding.
It's not something you can have.
All right. I'll find it within myself, and
It has to be discovered.
where do your sister and brother?
I guess it could be realized
Right? Yeah.
with your real eyes.
Ooh. You mean like distinguishing truth through the real lies?
Okay, here we go.
So we're trying to share ideas, get something cracking for the conference maybe, share a lot of philosophical, spiritual, and enlightening information.
Raise frequency, happy to see me. Are you ready for a holistic view? Raise the frequency, happy to see me. Are you ready for a holistic view? Are you ready for the holistic view?
And will we ever awaken your mind? And will we ever awaken your mind?